Hey, oh, so we are live for the second time tonight, and what are we going to do? We are going to take a look through game number 2 with some study positions that we need to solve before. So, yeah, Chessable should be well known by now. It's an online service where you have courses, well, like books that are interactively shown, and they train you via the MoveTrainer, which is really cool. They give you review sessions to check if what you learned is stuck in your head or if you forgot it already. So this one is, I love it. Don't just watch the World Championship, learn everything you can from it. So, yeah, it's a great event, as International Master Andras Toth tells us. But here it comes. It is even nicer if we, yeah, get instructive moments and have to solve it by ourselves instead of just watching streams, of course. So, yeah, we are diving into it. What will we get? We get the daily video recap, and that will be shown afterwards. I hope that Andreas took some videos not only from the game but also from the surroundings and everything. He has this press VIP passes and everything, so this is going to be pretty cool. We'll start with the review from yesterday's game and then get into well, from game number 1, the review from game number 1, and then we start with the positions from game number 2, and then the video recap by Andreas. So I need to click on review here, and this was Tal versus Salnikov, and here it was a super nice checkmate. I think I remember it. It was bishop takes g5. Check, he retakes, and then I'll just give him a check with the queen here. Yes, and then a final checkmate with the knight on d6. So that was the first review. Now to the game number 1. And can you find a very powerful and forcing idea that crushes white's position? And I think it was hanging a knight. So this one, yes. And now I don't care about the knight here, so I just take here. He takes, and I just take the knight. And now I'll take with the queen or with the rook. I think I took with the queen. Let's think. Ah, incorrect. Then it was a rook. Okay. So, and why with the rook? And shockingly, black is completely winning. Your engine will tell you that this position is about -5. Alrighty. So, yeah, taking the c5. And this one here was a mate sequence. And that was done this way. And yesterday I forgot the queen move to g6, but that's what we needed, of course. Also good. Can we refute this lovely idea? And the refutation was queen checks. Yes, and now I take the queen. And from here, last move was again to protect the checkmate on f8. The rook. Okay, so that was the review, nothing to review. So basically, if I do something wrong, it will be shown way more often than positions that I get right. That is the MoveTrainer, and it is called repetitive Is it called repetitive? I don't know. So, okay, I click on exit and we go straight into game number 2. But I'd like to get the learn thing here. Yes, it's correct. So we get 4 positions to solve and then the video recap. Okay, so this is game number 2 and here it's new for me. White accepts the challenge. How should black proceed? Okay, first of all, this is a problem with the fork. So I think it is necessary to... what I just find out is who is white. It's Ding Liren versus Gukesh. So Ding was white, I think. Yes. Okay, so. Okay. We have the fork here. And my first idea would be the bishop to e6. But then I lose a pawn. But better losing a pawn than a rook. What happens if I push the pawn? Pawn to d5. I think that's even better. Yes, I will go for d5. Fingers crossed that it's alright. We'll see. It is incorrect. Okay, this was the correct move. Haven't thought of it at all. Let's check. Black has to maintain the pressure, and so now we're all in. I'll take forking. Oh, I think this is over my head. So what is the next move? Oh, Alan Yeris, hey, how are you? I'm fine. I'm totally fine. How are you? I need to check chat more often here. Okay. Oh. Still need to find the way, what to do. Okay, so if I take, he takes, he probably goes out with the queen out of the way. Take. Okay, well, if I go out of the way, that would be queen to e7 or queen to d7. He takes the rook, and I take the bishop. And then he cannot take with the pawn on f7 because it's pinned by the bishop. So he probably goes h3. Glad to hear that. I'm pretty good. Thanks for asking. How's your day been so far? That's very nice. It's been good. Thank you. Just played a classical game, lost it, but it was against a person 2240, I think, rated. So that was all nice. Have you been following the World Championship? And more important, even, do you have a move that we can do that is correct? Well, I'm materially too greedy. I would really just go for the take. The bishop is gone anyway. Cannot do anything. So will that be good or not? I don't know. I check. Next. Okay, this one was this one. And now, okay, that was correct at least, finally. Okay, now black to play. And here, queen needs to go out of the way. And it is either d7 or e7. And I'll just take d7. And why? Because of the double on the diagonal, c1, c3. So no, I don't stream daily. It is more on a whenever I am free basis. So today is a long day. I started streaming at like 8:30. If you'd like, take a look at the video of the classical game that we did before. It's really good, and it has international master Balint Hajizi doing commentary for the game. It's really good. So what to do here? I think, well, g4 could also be nice with the bishop. Then he takes, I take, and then, hold on, getting the bishop out. He takes my queen, I take his queen. I'll take this, he takes that, I take the bishop. Still good. So I think that's probably a good move. I don't know, this one, difficult. I really need to think on that. Okay. Do I play any other games, Alan? Nope. Chess is it. Hmm. So g4. g4, yes or no? Is it worth it? No. I think it is good on e7. And then there. Okay, e7. Nope. It's an alternative move that says it was not wrong. Okay, then I'll try to go for Okay, there is a follower, I think. Yes, Alan Yaris, thank you for following. Really nice. That just made my day. Lovely, thank you. Really appreciate it. Sometimes you stream a lot, people are in and they don't follow, and then it's kind of like, but yeah, really nice. Thank you. So I think, and what's coming here? Okay, something happened. I don't know what, but I think I got the follow early on. So I just moved the bishop here, and that was wrong. Take here. Okay, now he takes my. But how do I get to the king? So that's strange. Okay, I need to find that out. Okay, so he takes, then the queen is taken, and now. Oh, I use artflow.ai, I think, and Midjourney for the thumbnails, of course. And for chess, basically, it's chess. Okay, so what now? Okay, I have the double attack on the pawn. He cannot move at all. So if I take with the pawn, it's too fast, it's moving too fast. If I take with the pawn, check, he has to move out of the way. What then? Then it's blocked, nothing to do. So I could take with the rook. Don't really know. That needs way more thinking time. Lol, hell no. Okay. Okay. So, what is the best move here now? And these are really like GM moves. I only a chess baby, and this is difficult, of course. Okay, maintaining the pressure. What move to take? I think taking the, well, the knight is trapped anyway, and I need to keep up the pressure. What is the pressure here, though? Well, I think I could still take. Something with the knight here. Or bringing out the bishop. It's a check. And then, okay, let's see what is a good thing here. So if I do check and he goes in there, I need to bring my knight to g3 to checkmate him. So for you allow, I can show you my work. Well, I can help you with that. Basically, I'm an artist to work for streamers for their stuff like cool logo, banner, panels, emotes, animations, and much more. Okay, yeah. Just show me, sure. Go ahead. Thank you. So, what is the best move here? Today, when I talked to International Master Balint Natchejizi, I said I would like to get one move right and then I'm good. And I have like 10, 12 moves here to get right. Okay, I don't know. So I think it is just check. Nope, again. It's the bishop move. Okay, but I get the candidate moves right. And black has a huge attack. How this can be turned into checkmate is a subject of our next position. Okay, next. This is this. And now we have a forced checkmate, I think. Okay, so this is completed. I got none correct. Okay, here we are now. White insists on maintaining the material surplus, but this backfires badly. What would you play here? What did he play? Okay, he now played the queen. He could have just taken the bishop though. And now it is something with a checkmate. Hmm. How about knight d4? Because then I have knight to e2, check. He needs to go to h1 and a checkmate on the. Okay, so I play the knight. Let's see if that was correct. Yes, I got one correct. Yoo-hoo. Alrighty. So now I need to continue. Hmm. Isn't it a fork? I think it is a fork on f3. He takes with the pawn, I take with the bishop, and then I can take with the rook on h3. Yeah, I would go for the incorrect. This one. Why this one? Okay, check. He still has to go there. But then I cannot take with the bishop. Oh no, I can take with the rook. It's a forced take. And then it is checkmate with the bishop. Yes. That's super cool. Okay, so it is this move. I need to go next. I need to do it again. Then it goes here, and now I take with the rook. And here. Okay. Okay, so let's read what they said. Okay, so white insists on maintaining the material surplus, but this backfires badly. What would you play here? 94. Can you please drop your Discord username in chat? My Discord username in chat. My Discord. Can I write to you in a private mail? Let's see. I click on your name and I can whisper to you. Yeah, so I'll whisper to you. Hold on. Need to get my username. What is my username on Discord? Okay. Whisper. I have blocked whispers from strangers. By sending a whisper to others, you will allow them to whisper for you for 48 hours. You can disable their access again in whisper settings. Got it. Okay. Enter. Okay, the whisper is out. Alan Yaris. Okay, I continue here. So going back to the game, and yeah, so that was really nice. Knight d4, I got that one. The importance of putting your pieces in the center can't be overstated. The black pieces are joining the attack one by one, and white now has an even more important piece to worry about, the king. Okay, so h3, 13, knight c3, okay, h3. Knight c3 was my, no, here, that, okay. Also leads to immediate catastrophe. It is f3, yes. Yeah, that was my other plan. Okay. Knight e2. White now has to return the queen and play from a slightly worse position. Instead, however, yeah, he played the king move, and which allows a fancy finish. How? That's what we just saw. Bingo, mate is now forced. Marvelous attack. Okay. So, but what I'm still interested in was here when I played knight to g3, knight f3. Why isn't that a checkmate? So here he takes, I take. It's not a check. Ah, okay, probably that's it. Yes. Check, he takes, I take. Uh-huh. Yep, that's the reason. Okay, good. Next variation. So also from game number 2. This time from white's perspective. So white now has 2 pawns hanging a5 directly. And e4 indirectly. Yeah, indirectly means I take the knight and then the pawn. Okay, this line must have been Ding's preparation. Can you find a way to fight an edge with white? Let's see. So these are the kind of positions where I struggle so hard with. Is there really something? Can I do a counter attack? Knight d5? No, doesn't work. Nope. Can you find a way to fight for an edge with white? It wouldn't be called World Championship if it's easy. So, what is the best thing that they played yesterday here? I have no clue, I give up. So then I usually do something. That something is go into the center with the knight here. It was correct. But why was it correct? Because if he takes, I take the bishop, but that would be taken by the knight then. What now? If anybody's in chat and knows the solution, like, please let me know. Yeah, I will. Hold on. Okay, so here, what is the best now? I cannot remove the defender of the bishop. I cannot attack here, so... Hey, Def Balai, hi, how are you? I hope you have a good day and you are following the World Championship, of course. So, what to do here? The pawn is gone. And well, now I think I can just... this is just a pure exchange. But still, I would probably play bishop d2. Then I lost the pawn. We have an exchange. I have that one in the center. I don't know. Let's go. Good. I hope you're doing well. Yes, I do. Okay. So I will just play this one, and it is incorrect. And this one here, a brilliant follow-up. The threat is nf5. Why is nf5 a threat? Okay. However, white's knight appears to be very vulnerable on h4. Okay, next, again, this one. He took now this pawn, so he's 2 pawns up. Well, as he said, f5 is the goal, then I just take f5. It's incorrect. Okay, now double attack on the knight, and okay. And now queen takes. Is there something else? Queen takes, and then I could go with the knight to f6. Let's see if that works. Yep. Okay, so knight took f4. What should we do now? If knight takes d5, c takes, take d6 also looks rather grim for black. Does it? He has to retake or move here. So, okay, that goes over my head. Okay, what happened? It was g4 and c5 and queen takes. And white has an overwhelming advantage, which can easily turn into a direct mate attack, as we shall see in the next position. Okay, again. Last position before we watch the recap video. So, it is a mate attack. How would you conduct the final phase? So I would go with a check probably. That would be knight f6 check. He can take with the queen, but that leads nowhere. He cannot put something in between, so he has to move out of the way. There's only one move, and that is king to e7. And king e7 gives me the next check, and that is the knight on f5. And now he has... Does he have moves? Hold on. So I check on f6, king e7. Those are taken. Yes, the only move then is king e6. And no, so something happened. I don't know what happened, but something happened. I believe a new follower. Yes, Ella Adam. So, Ella, nice meeting you. Hi. Thank you for the follow, of course. So, and Ella, if you are having a... Okay. Okay, and if you are... Okay, well, what happens? It doesn't stop. Okay, so if you are, you didn't hear that it was desktop audio, so I need to set that better up probably. Hey, so yeah, we just follow the game. Thank you, Ella. If you have a move that we can do, please let me know. Also, the other people in chat. So here, how do we do this? I usually do what I do in these positions. I just, for help in visualization, I check here. That was correct. And then again, I think this check is the next one, but it says incorrect already. Yeah. Okay. A brilliant semi. How should I find double exclamation mark moves? A brilliant semi silent move instead of cashing in far too soon with knight g6. Ah, this one, of course. Yes, the pawn is pinned. White strengthened his attack. The old adage comes to mind. The threat is stronger than the execution. Okay, but why? What happened here? If I play here... Why is this such a good move? Okay, so why is that such a good move? I have no clue. They will probably let me know. I click on next, do the move and see what black does. No clue why. I mean, obviously it's an attack on the bishop and the king there in line, so it would be a pin then. But it didn't really counter the pawn move. Ah, I think I can now take the escape square away from black by just pushing f5 with the pawn. Incorrect. Ah, it's protected by the rook, so if he comes, okay. Chook, chook, chook. 30 points, okay. But why didn't my way work? Okay, so why didn't my way work? Let's go back a little here. Back, back, back. What happens if I first do this move? Then it's not. Oh, thank you, Def Balai. Yes, it was not. Forgot to turn it on. So after the disconnect, thank you for letting me know. So here I was just checking the checkmate solution because I really didn't understand why here this was such a great move. Yeah, so with f4, if you just retake so that f5 with the pawn cannot happen, it is yeah, a forced checkmate in 7. And as Gukesh played the bishop instead of taking, he calculated that move in that mate in 7. why not? Okay, so that is good. And with that, I think we are through with the variations for today. And then we go straight into the video by IM Andras Toth. I'm really curious what he's going to tell us and if he has extra footage of the venue, maybe an interview and everything, or if he just did the what's it called? The game recap. So I like the positions here that they gave us. Yeah. And I got some right. Yeah. So I played on a world championship level. Funny. Okay. So these will be given tomorrow as a review. And we are now going to watch the recap video of game number 2. So I click on play, then I check on OBS if we can hear it correct. And
hello, ladies and gentlemen. This
it,
is second round from the World Championship match. And without spoilering too much, obviously,
yes,
we know that we can't always have as much excitement and fun and blood rush and yeah, all the popcorn situations that we had in round 1, that was almost too nice to be true. So today we had a slightly duller round 2, but strategy and competition planning, I think, played a major role. Obviously, from Gukesh's point of view, having the second game with the black pieces, the number one objective had to be to stop the bleeding, whereas Ding was very happy to solidify the one game lead and not taking any risks whatsoever. And so in the light of that, I think what ensued makes perfect sense. Nonetheless, I have got a few very interesting questions and ideas to share with you despite the peaceful outcome. So without further ado, let's jump in. E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6, and bishop C4, introducing what is nowadays meant to be the number one way to contest E4, E5, and that is the Italian defense, also known as the Giaco piano. Bishop C5, D3, knight F6, and knight
this always
C3.
Goes so fast.
Now, before I go into this, I would like to show you a trick here just to demonstrate how beautiful it is sometimes to watch the continuity of chess history. There is a very famous trap here known as the Chigorin trap. And yes, that means, friends, that we are going back to the very, very, very first world champion, Wilhelm Steinitz, and one of his greatest challenger, who would be Chigorin indeed. And this trap, which I'm going to present to you from the black's point of view, goes something like this. Castles, d6, bishop g5, h6, bishop h4, g5, and here after bishop g3, black can capitalize on multiple factors that work out to be to black's favor, in particular the fact that we haven't castled with the black pieces, and also that the g3 bishop is quite vulnerable, and so h5 is playable here.
And here, I think it's really helpful that we did the positions before, because now I recognize the position on the board here, of course, and also understand like what happens where. Otherwise, I just watch these streams when they explain it. It all goes very fast. I have no clue. So it's nice to really get deep into the position while when thinking of the solutions before. So that was really nice. Okay.
Now, your engine would tell you that this is not the number one, but only the second best choice behind bishop g4. But boy, does this move spice it up and then some. Knight g5, h4. After sacking a pawn, we are now inviting the possibility of a royal fork. And what would be a better way than of getting out of a royal fork than simply leaving both hanging, allowing white to take a pick. Knight takes d8 and bishop g4. And now we are definitely seeing that black's initiative is really paying dividends. White here needs to find multiple only moves, beginning with queen d2. But after knight d4, it is super easy to slip and lose a game. For example, after h3, we have got the super pretty knight e2 check. And if king h1, then rook takes h3, gh3, bishop f3, checkmate, finishes the game in a super beautiful fashion. And of course, we can also consider a move like knight c3, very natural developing move, when again, there is a force mate to be had with knight f3 check, g takes, and after bishop takes f3, the pawn checkmate on h2 can either be delayed by a few spy checks, or a capture on g3, which of course, in contrast, allows a different mate, but a mate nonetheless, and that is rook h1. So that was definitely an interesting association that popped up in my head when I started watching the game as it unfolded. Yeah, so that's a really, really cool trick to remember, especially because even nowadays, one of the main theoretical battles revolve around the bishop g5 idea. And the hottest debate indeed is around the question whether the bishop, after bishop g5, h4, g3 is misplaced and is a bad piece, or rather that black's h6, g5 is too much of a weakening story on the king side and something that shouldn't be done. Once again, that is what today's theoreticians, GMs are debating on and off the chessboard. Our game, however, took a slightly different turn here too, because a6, a4 moves were introduced, followed by castles h6, stopping the pin on g5, bishop e3, and bishop e6. And this, friends, is definitely a position where we need to stop and reflect a little bit, because this is really confusing. It really and genuinely is a very confusing position, mostly because there is an abundance of captures and various ways and move orders, permutations, if you will, how we can carry out these captures. And usually, and this is quite a tricky one to grasp, at least me, the ones that appear the most natural are usually the worst. For example, here white can obviously take both bishops, and this is one of the worst I can do, or at least it promises very little. The point is that the black pawns are covering an awful lot of important central squares, and so the double pawns, the double set of double pawns, do not weigh in at all in the evaluation in a negative fashion. As a matter of fact, and here I'm going to combine now yet another stories of mine that happened here in Singapore with what went down on the board, is that knight e2, in fact, is still theory in the sense that this has been played on the very, very top level. Guess who played this by the white pieces? Well, none other than a certain Pavel Elyanov. Now, if you are watching my videos and you watched yesterday's recording, then you would remember.
Now, just for everyone in chat, have you ever heard of Pavel Elyanov? I didn't. So it's amazing.
But that I told you that I caught the bus with Boris Gelfand and Pavel Elyanov, and I couldn't help but think to myself, are these guys here to be secret? And today I bumped into Jakob Agard, who of course is the boss of the Killer Chess Training Program. He's obviously a very famous book author and publisher. And he tells me that, oh, no, those two guys are working for me for Killer Chess Training. So it turned out that just when I was about to connect the dots and like, whoa, this was played by Elyanov, so surely he is the second of Dings. Turns out, no, just a total coincidence. So, yeah, this turns out that had.
And I really like it that Andreas is giving these background information stories. He's in Singapore himself, and he's not only sharing the game recaps, but also the stories, what he experiences during the day. And I really hope, as he said, that he will be giving us some background videos also from his stay in Singapore.
Had nothing to do with the opening choice. So once again, even after knight d2, very interestingly, the trade is not top priority. And here your engines will tell you something absolutely psychotic. And that is that h5 ideas are actually very, very typical here. Absolute bananas move. And after takes to add insult to injury, the engine wants to throw in g5, and it gives us an evaluation of slight edge to black. Black is going to simply play queen e7, queenside castles, see you later, alligator, and there is a beautiful attack to be had on the king side. By the way, chessable fans, now if you're watching this, you obviously are a chess fan, and a chessable fan, you can't see this, luckily, but there is a lovely chessable author loitering in the room right now, and that is none other than the lovely Alex Cholovic, and I'm hoping that he's going to sit next to me at least on one time in this recording. You know what, Alex, come on, join us in the screen. Let's make it authentic. I don't want to get rid of you. I will see how it works out with the camera. Quality recording. Ladies and gentlemen, please greet the legend. Alex, now that you are here, tell us, please, what you're doing for the World Championship match, other than promoting Capablanca, C4 Simplified, the chef. King's Indian Knight of... Yeah, tell us, please, what's going on?
Well, I mean, here I'm not on actually a strictly chess-related duty. I'm a fair play officer, basically ensuring that there is no cheating happening and that the players play by themselves. So far, so good, I can say. And yeah, when you see such a game, you kind of you don't have to be an expert to say that there's no cheating happening.
Right. Well, that's a relief to know. Thank you for telling me. And does it put a lot of pressure on you? Is it a stressful kind of work, or is it just you sitting down in a beautiful glass box and enjoying the atmosphere?
No, well, I wish I would do that. But in fact, what happens is that, okay, I do my pre-game scanning of not only the players, but the like restrooms, toilets, and also the venue. And in fact, during the game, I wish I could pay more attention to the game, but in fact, I am scanning for possible signals coming to the playing venue. So that's...
Man, that sounds like you are the Sherlock Holmes or Hercule Poirot of chess.
Yeah, something like that.
It actually sounds a bit unpleasant. I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but it's not something that you would be happily go, oh, I caught that signal, one of them is dirty. That would be probably the worst possible outcome, right?
I agree, yes.
So,
so far so good.
The best thing that can happen is that when you go home after the 14th game or whenever it's finished, then you go like, oh gee,
yes,
that's awesome.
Yes,
look, if you want to, I'm more than happy for you to sit through the rest of the...
If you don't mind, I would like to, because like I said, I didn't have much time to follow the game. I mean, on the surface, it looked kind of nothing was happening, but I'm pretty sure something...
And to me, it's so amazing. I mean, it's of course about a lot of money, but how can you take pride in a win if you cheated? Yeah, so that's my 2 cents for that.
It could have happened.
Yeah, and I'm just about to get to that part. So if you don't mind, I will talk a little bit and then we'll get to this. So instead of the multiple bishop captures that I told you that could have happened, that wouldn't have changed the evaluation too drastically, Ding here came up with the a5, which again, by the way, was played in the Alyanov game after bishop traded knight e2 later on, which again confirmed my theory that he was a second. As I already told you, I was completely wrong. And after a5, bishop takes, pawn takes. This was the critical position of the game. And this is where it could have gone on an entirely different route, where I think Gukesh could have been in quite a bit of trouble. The irony is that if you look at, again, your engine's evaluation, the engine would tell you that this is equal, like 000, 000, and this is about 0.2. And this is exactly what Gukesh played. But all the commentators and people who were analyzing the game wondering about consequences of bishop b4. And I think that Gukesh has made here an incredibly wise, practical decision for not playing this move, which wins a pawn by force, right? So a5 is on directly and e4 is on indirectly after a capture. So knight d5 is, of course, white's idea. And now there is an awful lot to calculate, both with bishop a5 and both with knight takes e4. I will show you the dangers lurking around after bishop a5. That is perhaps easier to follow and calculate. Here we need to see the quite sneaky knight h4. And now the idea, of course, is to invade via f5. Now, there is nothing strange about that. However, this move is definitely not an easy one to find if you consider the fact that the discovered attack on h4 is on, for example, after knight d5. And also we abandoned yet another pawn. So it's a very generous move by white. But indeed, in all variations, white comes out on top. I found a very, very nice checkmate attack, which I'm going to show you because I found it very amusing. So knight e4 is probably one of the worst ways to treat this. Queen g4, double attack on e4 and g7. This is already looking like carnage. Knight c5, queen g7. And I just completed this analysis because I really, really liked in this position white's next move. Many a player would be tempted here to go in for an early knight g6, but nah, friends. We don't cash in too soon. We play f4 first, and now after a black pass, we see the power.
Yeah, this is a nice move.
This is a power of the...
And just in case for the people in chat who joined late, taking the pawn on f4 with the e5 pawn would have been a mate in 7. So basically, Gukesh calculated that by not taking. It's amazing.
Combined white pieces on the king side, and what particularly appeals,
and I know this because this was given in a position that we had to solve before we were watching the video.
To me about this final position, which explains a lot about the nature of the pawn sack, is that all the black minor pieces are stuck on the queen side, being completely unable to participate in the defense. Now, admittedly, I didn't play best moves for black here, but that was a very powerful demonstration of what this position is about. Let me show you a better one. After g6, we have got queen f3 forcing the f6 knight, in fact, to take on d5, thus opening up the diagonal against h4. But even that is irrelevant because once this is captured, we take on c6, and that comes with a big fat tempo. Both b7 and a5 are on. White is completely winning. Likewise, actually not quite likewise, but yeah, knight d4 is still better for us. Now I'm showing you gradually better and better moves for black. Even here, bishop takes, pawn takes, and now before we capture a5, of course, we try to take someone down with us with the knight on h4, and after fg, rook a5, although material is level, it's absolutely obvious that white is definitely playing for a win here. The black king is very, very exposed. The black heavy pieces are disconnected. It's a clear advantage. The only way to actually stay in the game for black after knight d5 is knight takes e4, accepting this pawn. Now white has queen d3. Knight c5 again is only move, and then queen f5. And again, you see here the trend, which is that we're trying to shoot the black minor pieces toward the queen side, while the white pieces are sort of aiming toward the king side, trying to cause trouble here. Now, there is no imminent threat, but there is an immense level of pressure on black. Actually, I lied. There is an imminent threat, which is c3 followed by b4. That needs to be dealt with. And after knight e6, queen g4, this is where your engines start to settle down again around a drawish or equalish evaluation. But to enter this position with black without any prep, and you have to see all of this, by the way, in this position. Now that I call a suicide for a match environment like this, where you know your opponent has prepped it, you know you haven't. And so playing castles and going like, I can hold this against anyone, I think was an incredibly mature and wise decision by Gukesh. What's the future?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I was wondering during the game what happens after bishop b4, because obviously it wins a pawn.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, I thought, okay, this is early, like move, 10 or something.
Yeah.
And Ding choosing 1e4, which normally is not his usual move, even though he has played it recently.
Yeah.
So it felt like, okay, there must be something here. Quite some time, and then he castled and said, okay, I mean, he smelled the rat, and okay, just he plays it safe.
Yeah, and I think this is a particularly interesting part of a World Championship match when you watch closely and you follow it move for move, is that a lot of things remain behind the scenes. So I always try to warn people against, it was just a boring draw. Well, the outcome may have been a draw. It might not have been a super exciting game, but the battles that the players fight and the decision-making and the wise...
Yeah, I remember when I was watching Chess Dojo's coverage of the World Championship, when the draw came out of a sudden, well, basically, GM Jesse Krell cried out, "What?" And yeah, draws can be boring, but this was certainly not.
Certain moves are avoided. When you actually try to dig a little bit deeper, you realize that there is so much more to these games than what meets the eye. And to be honest, not a lot to show you after castles, because they traded pieces on the d file, and after a couple of shuffling moves, they actually ended up repeating moves with knight to knight c6, and the players agreed to a draw. Is that right, that they are not allowed to agree to a draw before move 40 unless it's a repetition or a stalemate or yeah, right. But since this was a move repetition, the players agreed to a draw. And so here we are now scratching our head what to expect tomorrow. What do we expect tomorrow, Alex?
Well, I think tomorrow Gukesh will just press for a win, because okay, he was maybe
this is now about game 3,
game 1, but this was a good game. And okay, now he probably has felt his way into the match and probably feels more comfortable. And I expect tomorrow to go all out and of course try to put pressure. But
yes, I saw a video with Gukesh today after game 3, which he won. And he said that he didn't feel well in game 1, and it was also different, and it's a World Championship match. And he said that Magnus Carlsen in his first World Championship match also didn't play well. So lots to expect. I'm still rooting for Ding, of course.
I mean, I have to say that for me, this game was probably, psychologically speaking, a sort of a mistake from Ding, in a sense that to allow a quick draw with the white pieces without seemingly putting any pressure, and also not even trying to put some pressure, because I mean, apart from all these moves like 92 or like something, he could have gone 95 at some point. There was other more active ways to treat the position, but I had the impression that he didn't even try. So for me, this is kind of also some sort of a sign of a weakness, even though he said he was happy with the draw. But it may just signify that, well, he's not quite over that lack of self-confidence that he's been displaying over the past period. So even though he won a great game yesterday, this for sure boosted his self-confidence. But this draw, I kind of felt that he did not build up enough or that, let's say, psychological advantage that he got by winning with black in the first game.
Right.
But okay, we'll see.
Do you think he might switch back to d4?
Yeah, I think so. D4, C4. I think this was quite kind of a surprise to try to catch perhaps Gukesh
out of book,
out of some preparation. But mostly I would think that he would stick to his usual repertoire D4, C4, because he's a natural D4, C4 player. He played that all his life. So this was an attempt, I think, just to try to do something different, like with the French. I don't expect him to repeat the French, to be honest. But okay, I mean, I don't know. Let's see.
We will see, indeed. And let that be the last word, guys, from us for today. So that was round 2 with a not quite hard-fought draw, but a draw nonetheless. Tomorrow is round 3. Stay tuned, and I am certainly going to be delivering the analysis of the next round, and we might have a new guest too. We will see. Thanks for watching. We will be back tomorrow again.
Thank you, Andreas. So that was really nice, and yeah, I liked it, especially that today I managed to get it in the right order. So first doing the puzzles of the game and then watching the recap. So the recap is kind of easier to understand, because for me, quite frankly, it is super fast to follow that. But it is really nice to see what's going on the board instead of just hearing or reading the standings of the game, of course. So with this, tomorrow will be the recap of game number 3. Again, IM Andras will give us 3 or 4 positions that we have to solve before we are watching the recap. For me, that's a great method, and I really like to follow the World Championship this way instead of just watching a recap without thinking. So always nice to do something for yourself. Okay, with that, I take a quick look at chat and wish you a very good night. Alan Yaris, I'm going to check out Discord now. And yeah, have a very good night and a great World Championship. Thank you and bye-bye.